guys, it is us from Just So Bored again. Finally back with another haircut video because as you can see, he let his hair grow out. He would not let me touch it for the last like several months. So he finally's like, okay, I guess we can try to trim it. So that is my objective, is to trim it, but yet make it look a little bit better than this. So let's get started. Just gonna wet it with some of the water and conditioner like last time. Then I'm going to start with the top area like I did in my previous video. And he just wants a trim, so I'm just going to take off probably a ½ inch to an inch, and I'm going to do the texturizing like I did in my last video as well. And that's where you're going to point cut in. Then you can go and you can take some out too. And that's just going to give you some nice movement. It's hard because he's kind of tall in this chair, but and then this is going to be your guide, and you're just going to keep going throughout this whole top section. Hold it up, check it. Okay, see if I can spin him around here so you guys can see what I'm doing in the back now. So for the back, I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm going to hold it up like that with that angle there off of the scalp, and I'm cutting all that away. His hair is kind of grown out in a interesting way, like I said, since he wouldn't let me cut it since now from his very short haircut. So you'll see that there is kind of some craziness going on from the long that he had to the short, so we're just going to blend that. I'm going to take that and just point cut it. And then the back, I'm going to decide how short I want it. And this is the hard part because he doesn't really want it that short, but we're going to take it about an inch to an inch and a half. And I'm just taking that guide that I first cut and I'm just following it, and I'm point cutting in. You can do straight across too. He does have very fine thin hair, so for me I've learned that point cutting does seem to help give that a little bit more texture for the fine thin hair, and just helps it to lay. And then we're going to go back up here. And I am angling it here like this, and I'm taking out any of this, okay? And I just kind of let the hair lay and kind of see what it's looking like. And sometimes you do want to take smaller sections if you're kind of new to this. You want to make sure it's evenly damp, so if an area starts getting a little more dry than the others, just give it another spray. Okay, so I'm just following this line here on both sides, just evening it out because it grew very interestingly. And I'm debating if I should cut his ears out or leave them. He says he doesn't care, so I'm just kind of playing with it and seeing. Usually you would pick out a picture and just kind of go with it, but since he doesn't really know what he wants, it's like, do this, but don't do this, Mom. I'm like, okay, I'm not really a magician, but we're gonna try. And he does definitely not want his top short. He said right now he's trying to kind of grow it, that part still. I'm just gonna take this and trim. And with his, it would depend which way you guys wanted your hair to be, how you would do this part, if you wanted it to go to the other side, or if you want it to be able to go back only, or be able to be versatile to each way. His, since he does have a very distinct way he likes to wear his on this side, I sometimes actually cut this side a little bit longer, and this side will definitely be shorter, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and I have been going over it, and like I showed you in one of the other videos, you're going to check for your length. You can just kind of run your hands like this. And at first you might be like, this is weird, but like I can tell that this side's just a tiny bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little more out through here. Again, I'm just doing that point cutting. Maybe one day he'll let me do a really drastic haircut on him again, but for now he's just wanting to do kind of grow out thing. And that's what I was like begging him. I even asked him the other day, like, how much will I have to pay you so I can cut your hair? Because it is looking, oh my gosh. And so finally he's like, okay, fine, he can at least do something. So I was super happy. But he's like, nothing too drastic. So when he was young, we used to do the mohawks. I would bleach his hair. Yeah, his dad would get mad at me, like, what is this? I guess just hair. It'll grow back. So that's kind of looking like this. So it's laying a lot better than it did. It had that kind of weird, I told him it looked like someone did bad extensions on it. Which of course he wasn't too happy when I told him that, but. And then you'll just want to go through, kind of check it. Like I said with this, since he does wear his on this side longer, it is going to be in a way an uneven cut because I'm not cutting it the same way on this side as I am necessarily on this side. And if you don't have the point cut thing down yet, another way that you guys could do this too is getting a thinning shears, which looks like this. And they're going to have those jagged pieces right here, the teeth that are going to take pieces out. So what you would do is you would just line your hair up, and to get that texturized, you would just cut it like that. And you could do it a couple times if you needed more pieces out. So that's another way too, like that. Sometimes I do this on myself because it's easier to do this than it is to try to point cut my own hair. That's another way. You can just take it a couple times, and this is just gonna give it that kind of more feathery look instead of so heavy where if you just were to cut it straight across. You're just gonna wanna make sure all your edges are cleaned up. All those little stragglies you just want to take off. I just kind of play with it and see how their hair naturally lays, and kind of just try to cut it to where it's going to lay naturally and nicely for them. I don't like that peak there, so I'm just going to take it. And you can kind of go in and take a little out right here too. All right, we're gonna see what he's thinking about it. I'm gonna show him in the mirror, see what he thinks. So he's told me several times he doesn't care to do whatever I want, but I know if I do, then I'm gonna be in trouble.
Do whatever you want within fine limits.
Yes, and he keeps doing the teenager shrug too, like, I don't care. But I know he really does.
I don't. You saw I looked like a hobo.
If I had what I wanted, I would totally cut out his ears, cut all the back. Maybe next time he'll let me do that.
Another day.
Another day, he says, maybe
with
if I
no
pay
promises.
him. How much do I have to pay you for that video?
$250.
Oh, wow, that's not my price range. Well, folks, it might be a while before we get another haircutting video because I don't have that kind of money. All right, so there you go, guys. Is that easy? And there's the finished product. Like I say, it's not necessarily what I would choose, but he is his own person, so I'm just kind of trying to go with it. So I might just do a little more right through here. That's the nice thing about hair cutting. You can always take more off, but you cannot put more back on. So I just do it little by little sometimes. All right, guys, so I guess this is as good as it's gonna get today. This is what he wanted, trying to please a teenager. So here's the finished look. We didn't have any of the wax that we need on hand, so we just went ahead and used hairspray. Do a little twirl around for you to see. And hopefully I can bribe him to do another video and do the haircut I wanted. But thanks for watching, guys. We will catch you next time when we're just so bored again. We make another video.
Okay, what's going on? It's kind of looking like Lord Farquaad now, man.
Who's Lord Farquaad?
That dude from Shrek.
Oh, no.
The Lord from Shrek.